Hello beautiful singers, this is Valerie White Williams and Vocal Splendor Studios, and today I would like to talk to you about how to build your low voice. Now personally that's been my biggest issues as a young singer. My low voice wasn't the strongest, and well, that would make sense because I am a high soprano, but like I've said many times, low voices can work on their high voice and high voices can work on their low voice. And so over the years, I've really learned some tips on how to make the best of my low voice, and I'd like to share them with you. So the first tip on singing low is that you need to be relaxed. Because what happens when people get excited, they're going to high energy, their voice gets higher and higher and higher. So singing low requires relaxation. So that's why on reality TV shows, when all those people are singing, their low notes are kind of not very good because they're uptight. I would be too. So it's hard to really start out with the low notes because it takes a while to relax. So relaxing, breathing, releasing tension is a great way to get into your low notes. And also when you're sick and tired, your voice is naturally low, partly because there's some swelling in the cords. So that happens normally. So if you have a cold, and you want to work on your low voice and you want to record, do it when you have a cold. You're going to have a lot more richer resonance. So that's another thing that you can take advantage of those moments to work on the lower resonance. Now, when we think of the lower resonance, we use the word sometimes chest voice, okay? And in truth, that's kind of a pop way of communicating it. It's not really like our sound isn't in our chest, but we can feel the sense of the rumbling in the chest. Because truly what we're doing when we're using our chest voice, we are using our vocal cords in a different way that creates more thickness, because the vocal cords kind of open and close like this. And so when we're singing high, they're stretched out, and we're singing low, they're short and fat. And so it's kind of a different wavelength. They're thicker and fatter. And so the relaxation to kind of feel that drop, that low drop, that release, drop the anchor. Those are some images I use with my students of thinking about bringing that release all the way down. And then sometimes when you're a high voice and your cords have been stretched out like a rubber band, it can be really hard to come back down into the low voice. It's like it's hard to find that resonance again. It's almost like we have to shift down to get the cords to kind of come into that fatter, thicker way versus resonating in that kind of more open way we do when we're in our high voice. So let's do some talking about just some exercises to get the low voice. So you want to think of like going almost like groans. Whoa, low. And you notice when I do that, I have to release my jaw and relax, go down, and allow that feeling to kind of sink down below the ground or below the earth. Now I also have a great exercise that strengthens the low voice. So I like to do two phases. We're going to do something like this. Ya, ya, ya. 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 So that kind of gets you started. But what you can do to make it even more turbocharged is doing pulsing exercises. And I love pulsing exercises because when you pulse and you take a breath and you sing the same note, it trains your larynx to be consistent and to really identify that note and how it feels and how it functions. So I like to do the downward triad and then do this pulsing on the bottom. So I'm going to show you like this. Ya, 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 ha, ha. So I'm using that breath that we use on the other types of singing that I have lots of videos on if you want to find out about the breathing. So we're going to feel the energy in the rib cage, but unlike the high notes where you really have to use lots of energy, the low notes, we want to feel this flow. Almost think of like you're landing an airplane or you're coming down and you're just going to release the energy to let it flow, but you're relaxing. So we're going to do that again. Ya, 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 ha, ha. I'm going to use that H because that's going to help the vocal cords come together easier when we have that H. So I'm going to go back down a half step. ya, 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 ha, ha, ya, 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 ha, ha, ya, 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 ha, ha, ya, 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 ha. Okay, that was kind of at my bottom. So, and then the bottom really just sometimes changes depending on the weather. At least that's my experience with my students. The barometric pressure, if it's sunny, if it's rainy. I know some days I can just sing a little bit lower. Again, I don't claim to have amazing low notes. I have so many people who can sing lower than me, and it's funny and it's great. I'm a high voice singer. That's usually what I do better, but we can train our low notes too to get a little more firmness, a little bit more thickness in the vocal cords by releasing and learning how those notes feel. All right, thanks for the subscribes and likes and shares. I so appreciate it. If you have any tips on building your low voice, speaking voice, please share it below. I'd love to hear about it, and so we can share more information to help us all become better singers, because the more we sing, the better we feel, and it's fun. So I hope you all have a great day and sing on.